G'day guys, Duckville here. We're going to watch a game from the Dream Team Gaming practice sessions that the guys have, as they do, of course. When you're trying to be a high-level professional gamer, you want to try and practice as much as you can. Speaking of which, hey, one of our players, Sickness, has actually been playing upwards of 50 games per day. The kid is going absolutely insane on ladder, and hopefully we'll see him bust into, I'm not sure if he's in Grandmaster already or if he's close, but definitely getting there, and hopefully we'll have him in there and fighting it out with some of those awesome top Korean pros. But here today we're going to watch a game that I picked out of the replays that is very, very cool. It's going to be on probably the best map in, well, probably one of my favorite maps from pretty much any all time. I'd actually say this is probably my favorite map. This is going to be the GSL version, of course, though, so we are going to have, what is it, the normal 6 minerals at the 4th base with just a rich Vespene Geyser, not a double with the normal ones there. So we're going to have a little bit of an interesting fight on our hands. This is going to be between our Protoss player down here. You may have heard of him. He played in GSL Code A in the round of 48 or 64. I don't know, whatever it was. He played against Boong Boong Prime, and he had a good little run there. He took out the first game. It is Gandol, of course. He's going to be starting down here in the bottom left. Going to be opening up with a Forge Fast Expand. I'm going to have to learn how to do this properly because I always screw up the wall here. But as we can see, his opponent is the Blue Zerg up to the top side, named dtGNalRa, also from Dream Team Gaming. You would have seen some of his other games on the channel there. If you haven't, make sure you check him out. He does some very interesting things with his matchups. As we can see here, actually getting a very quick pull. This is very standard for dtGNalRa. You might think, what is this guy doing? He's a crazy cheeser. He's a big fat phony, that sort of thing. No, he does this all the time. It's actually, I've learnt from reading on a couple of forums that for some players, they actually, when you're playing Zerg versus Protoss, it's actually a little bit better to play with that very quick pull. It's around about 12 or 13 or something like that. Get a couple of lings out, as we can see here. You get 6 lings out and then proceed across the map. Try and do some damage to your opponent if you can get there before they get the cannon up, all that sort of thing. And it can be quite useful. Not to mention, it gets you a couple of lings down to take down that very annoying pylon at the natural expansion. So we'll see what happens here. Of course, the big problem with playing on Daybreak is that because this map is as huge can be, by the time you actually get across the map, there should already be a like at least a wall forming. The cannon might not be up in time, but the wall should definitely be there. So that can be a bit of an issue, but you can put a little bit of damage on this forge perhaps, or the gateway that's building, depending on when your opponent went for that cannon. Now, as we can see here, Gandol got the cannon up just in time and is actually able to defend against those lings before they get inside by putting up another gateway just to protect that area there. But if you catch the odd player out, some players can be a little bit more greedy than others. I, for one, actually still like to do a Nexus first, even in PvZ, when you can sometimes scout a slightly earlier pull and you can still get it done. But if you're playing against someone who's like that, you can still catch them out. But we'll see what happens here. Gandol, of course, in his match against Boong Boong, did a very it was a very weird sort of opening in the first game there. I thought he was actually going to do a quick 3rd base, but actually went for, I think it was just a basic sort of, kind of like a 3-gate opening, I believe. And then actually had quite a lot of trouble. Was under pressure from that mid-game Roach heavy army that a lot of the Zerg players like to do at this stage of the metagame, and of course was able to come back from that. It was incredibly weird to see that Boong Boong had no infestors. It was ridiculous, and so Gandol was able to recover, stabilize himself, and get the Colossus count up and just roll all over Boong Boong. And then through the second game, we had a little bit of trouble with with a couple of ling run-bys, which was a bit unfortunate, and then went for a very daring play in Game 3, going for a proxy 2-gate on Antigua Shipyard, which was almost successful, but unfortunately Boong Boong scouted it just in time. Speaking of scouting, just having a look at what these players are up to, dtGNalRa with really nice Overlord spread here. He's got one at the back just to keep an eye on what is going up at this bottom side of the natural expansion. He's got some lings just poking around the front here, of Gandol is going to see that there are a couple of units out, just a Stalker and a Zealot, just going to wander across the map. And as we mentioned, Overlord's just in various positions here, which is quite nice to have. And as we can see here, looks as if we're going to get a Stargate opening from Gandol. He does have the third gas, which is going to help out with that. Getting no sentry at the start also means that you can get those Void Rays out, and or one or more Void Rays, possibly multiples, but generally you'll only see one Void Ray and a couple of Phoenix. And it looks as if he's going to come across and try and get a little bit of pressure here with this Stalker and Zealot combination, just poking in at the Xel'Naga Watchtower, getting a shot off on a couple of those Lings here, but not really going to do too much damage there. As we can see, one of those Lings may need to go back home because he's going to get in trouble there, and actually getting sniped off. Beautiful work by Gandol to pick that off. And the Lings are going to have to be careful right about now. With the Queen in the fight, they should be okay, I would think, as long as the Queen takes a little bit more of the hit at the start, and she does indeed, putting some hurt on that Zealot, and these guys are going to have to retreat. So NalRa is currently sitting in a nice spot at the moment. He's got 3 bases up. We currently have a total of, we've got 3 gas up. He's got a 4th just coming along now, and he's continuing to drone up at the moment. 8 drones just popping out now. We've got the Ling speed finally starting here for him. He's finally got enough gas for that. Went for the lair before the Ling speed, which is obviously a little bit of a sign that it could be something along the lines of infestors coming along, because that is something that you need quite a lot of gas for. And in fact, he's going to grab the 5th gas along here as well, just waiting to see if he's going to get the 6th, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be some infestors here from NalRa, and it is indeed. Oh wow, he's actually going to get Hydras as well, getting a little bit of an interesting tech going here. We're probably going to have some Roach Hydra infestor coming along, perhaps an early timing. We'll see what happens. Of course, Gandol is going to need to get very prepared at the front base here if he can scout that out, but it looks as if, wow, he's actually going to go across and get that 3rd base very quickly here. NalRa with a very nicely timed Overlord just hovering across is going to say, hey buddy, you're going to expand, not on my watch. And it looks as if the Void Ray finally out is doing a little bit, but just looking at the defenses of NalRa, he has a Spore up in the 3rd base here. There's nothing inside the main just as of yet, or the natural, which is a little bit surprising, but he's probably going to rely on some micro with those Queens to help out with that, not to mention the fact that 9 Hydras are actually on the way. So I am thinking he's going to go for an attack very quickly once those Roaches get their speed up, and once a couple of the Hydras are done, and maybe go for an attack on that 3rd base. But he's got Pathogen Glands on the way, Groovy Spines are coming too, +1 to the Carapace as well. Going to help out a little bit with the Roaches and the Hydras defending against the inevitable multitude of Stalkers, and even, you know, to some extent these cannons will help out, it will help in defending against those as well. Really like the wall here from Gandol. He's got 3 gateways just at the front here, not really going hugely expensive on the wall. Got a couple of pylons up to the top side as well, but here come a few Lings, these Phoenix and Void Ray just scouting out what's going on over here. The Void Ray, of course, not having a fun time at all with those Lings, but he is going to be able to hold back the attack just for the moment. Is he going to get enough units up? I'm not actually sure. The gateways are going to switch over here. The Hydra's going to have to step back just a bit. They're in range of the cannons. Unfortunately, no force fields went down for Gandol there. While this is going on, the 4th base is going up for NalRa as well. It looks as if at least one of these gateways is going to be destroyed, and Immortal moving into his little cubby hole here just to get into position there. More Stalkers warping in, and it looks as if the +1 is going to help here, because as we said, the Stalkers will do a little bit less damage given that they fire 2 shots, and catching the Hydras out there, blocking off the Lings from getting into the fight and the Hydras from getting away, disposing of those quite quickly here, and that is very nice. Wow, look at that guy. He's actually around the corner, and you can't actually see him. He was on hold position. I've never seen that before. But a nice little attack, not actually really getting too much done. Lost a few Hydras, which was a bit unfortunate, but this has let NalRa get his Infestors out. As we can see, 6 Infestors out at the moment. They did get their Pathogen Glands. We've also got the drone count sitting at a very healthy 81 drones, droning up like there is no tomorrow. Hive on the way, and we'll have a look at what Gandol is up to himself. We've got a couple of gates just getting warped in now. We've got Blink being researched. We've got Phoenix just poking around to see see what they can do. Colossi are out. Extended the Lance half done. An extra Colossus is just about to come through as well. The Infestors wobbling their way around like penguins trying to get up to the top base here. This is the problem for NalRa. Of course, he knows, as any Zerg will know, if you let a third base get up in this sort of situation as a Protoss, you will be able to do all sorts of crazy things, and the Zerg will not have a good day at all. Trying to bust through, throwing some infested Terrans over the wall there like it's a crazy volleyball game, and the Roaches just blasting away at those gateways as well. Going to be lifting up the Infestors here. I've always wondered what would happen if you keep a few of those Phoenix alive at the start of the game and just lift the Infestors out of the battle here. But the Colossi are going to be the big damage dealers, just reaching over the gateways, saying hello and beaming down all of these Infested Terrans. Got to be a little bit careful though, you don't want to lose any of these Colossi at this stage of the game. Speaking of losing things, this Infestor has lost his Google Maps and is not going to be getting home at all. But again, this is let NalRa get this, keep this fourth base nice and secure, and we'll see if this is going to factor into how this game plays out. More gates now complete for Gandol. He's now up to a total of, how many we got? We're going to have 10 gates very soon. Probe not very happy with his job. He's just going to camp out here in between the cannons, just a little bit unsure about what he's doing. But in fact, wow, Gandol is well, he hasn't actually scouted out too much of what's going on NalRa's side of the map, but he's going to take his fourth base anyway. Now, the reason for this, he's going to have some nice protection with the Colossi. He's going to have the advantage of this wall in the middle has not been destroyed yet. Of course, if that goes down, things could get a little bit dicey, but he's got Colossus production just really ramping up right now. +2 to weapons is also just about to complete, which will help out those. And looks as if we've got a Templar Archives, a Fleet Beacon, a second Forge, and all sorts of things coming along here. As we said, once a Protoss has that third base up and it's nicely saturated, you can do all sorts of things, and it looks as if he's going to go in for an attack here, just pushing across with those Stalkers just a little bit too far. The Fungal Growth going down on there, catching them out of position, not able to help against the Stalkers, but with an Immortal and a few of these Colossi and some really decent force fields there, just sort of not the greatest force fields, but segmenting out the various Zerg units, and was able to do a very nice trade with that Zerg army. Now, NalRa has gotten his Great Aspire up, as we can see, along with a couple of spines. Oh my god, I'm so happy to see that a Zerg player is putting some extra spines inside their main. Would love to see a Spore, but that is really good to see. Too many players just sort of neglect their main and their naturals, just sort of leave it alone and not put anything in there. But as you can see, NalRa doing a good job actually getting spines all over the place to make sure, not to mention, wow, a lot of creep tumors are active at the moment as well, so he's going to get some good creep spread going. The only thing he's interestingly not done is creep spread through here, but that's not going to be too much of an issue, because now he has the very deadly Broodlords, which are going to start pushing their way across the map. We've already got 3 more about to morph in as well. Looks as if a Templar is just going to come across, try and get a feedback on those Infestors, but is not able to do so. The Lings and the Roaches are far too great in number to be able to get in there easily, and the Lings coming across, 4 Colossi, 5 Colossi now with +2 to weapons, +1 to armor, catching out a couple of those Lings, and of course those Infested Terrans. Would love to see another force field around about here to block out everything, but he's not going to be able to get there in time. Looks as if the Stalkers are going to have a really tough job here trying to get underneath the Broodlords, but they do get there eventually. Fungal Growth going down, along with some Infested Terrans along the side as well. Looks as if the Stalkers are getting their job done. There are still 4 Broodlords here, 3 now, and just about to be none in just a second. A Void Ray also coming to the party, and it looks as if Gandol has just swept through that quite easily. I think the point of engagement was a little bit on the negative side there for NalRa, just trying to poke down a ramp into a very wide concave that a Protoss has secured is probably not the best way to attack into this late stage Protoss army that is about to get +3 weapons, +2 to armor, and no doubt there will be a mothership on the way very soon. Is there one already? No, there is not, but here we go. We've got another attack. A lot of Corruptors in the mix here. This is going to cut down that Colossi mix very, very quickly here. No Fungal Growth really available here because the Infestors were not able to get replenished in time. There is only 1 left over now. In fact, none. They have all been destroyed. +2 to armor has kicked in for these Protoss units. +3 to weapons just about to be added on as well. Meanwhile, behind all of this, the fifth base up the top for Gandol is just about to be saturated there, and now pushing through a mothership on the way for Gandol. He's warped in more units. They're going to come along as quickly as possible. Going to need some more Templar in this mix as well. I have no doubt that there is going to be a very high number of Roaches and Lings going to be coming through very soon. He's actually just got Roaches and Broodlords on the way, but this base is going to go down. Losing that in that rich Vespene Geyser is a little bit unfortunate there for NalRa, but he's not going to be too worried about that. He does have, wow, he's got bases building all over the place, even taking this, which is a very daring there, very brave to take that one. It is going to go down though. The Stalkers will catch that on their way home to have a tea. And it looks as if the drones are also coming out to this party. Not sure what's going on here for NalRa, trying to catch out these units before they can get home, but there are far too many Stalkers in this big group of units here for Gandol. Cancelling that hatchery, going to have to escape, get these drones out of the battle for God's sake. And they actually mineral walk through and are going to soak up some of the damage here. This is going to be a little bit weird, but they're going to soak up some, but with the Immortal, extra units now coming in here for Gandol, this is not going to go too well. Broodlords sweeping in from the side, dropping down Broodlings all over the place, chomping on things like crazy little chompers, and the Roaches also getting swept apart by those Zealots. And now we've got just more and more units pouring in here for NalRa, but he's in this position where he has to spend quite a lot of his larvae on getting his army back and operational. As we can see on the supply here, we've got Gandol up at 140, warping in more units now. NalRa at 159. Just having a look at how many harvesters there are between these two guys, we've got 75 here for Gandol, so he is in a fantastic position here. The Templar coming across, there is no storm, keep in mind, so we won't be able to do any storm damage, but the infested has been feedbacked, whatever it is, feedbacked, whatever it is. Either way, battle going the way of NalRa for the time being. He's actually done quite a lot of damage here, but the mothership has come in from the side. She's going to clean up. There is no real way to deal with this mothership just at the moment. There is one Corruptor trying to take out this Phoenix, but the mothership is going to come to the aid of that Phoenix and take him down. The Stalkers being warped in and blinked back. This is how they roll in their daily life, warp in and blink back. And the mothership should just push up a little bit further to make sure these units are covered, but she is just hanging around the top. She's taking it all and is going to do all the damage herself, but this is not looking good for NalRa just at the moment. He's currently sitting on an income of just over 1,000 minerals and just on 1,000 gas at the moment, but as we said a little bit earlier, he's just throwing his units into the battle here. I don't like how he was just throwing everything at this Protoss laser ball here, and now it looks as if Gandol is going to get prepared. He knows he's in a fantastic spot right now. We've got Void Rays, we've got extra Colossi coming through as well. Just looking at the upgrades for him as well, he's got 2-3, there is plus 3 to armor just on the way, so he's going to have some really nice upgrades to push against what NalRa has. And NalRa has decided it's time for the final defense. We've got a total of 7 more Broodlords morphing in. They're going to be a total of 10. What else is he going to have on the ground? Well, just looking at what he has right now, he has 6 Roaches, 6 Infestors, and 9 Lings, which is completely pointless, but they're up here and they're going to try and do a little bit of damage. They just burrowing inside the mineral line. There are a couple of Zealots are going to have to stand guard, like those dudes who guard the Queen, but just as we can see here, Gandol is going to protect against that nicely with a cannon. The Broodlord's going to have to separate themselves, as we can see here. The one thing you've got to make sure you're doing when you are playing as a Zerg and a mothership is out, you need to split those Broodlords up. And here we go. It looks as if the fight is on. We've got Broodlords just up the top here. 4 of them are just about dead already. The Infest is doing quite a lot of damage. In fact, being caught out by that Vortex, and the Corruptors are nowhere in sight at all. They are being morphed in right now, but they're not going to get here in time. Probably going to chuck those Archons into that little vortex there, but I don't think it's going to matter. It's just Infestors, and in fact there were Archons in there already, and it looks as if everything has just been utterly annihilated here by Gandol, taking down the mainstay of his teammates' army. As we can see, the supply count there is getting absolutely terrible right now for NalRa. He's going to have to spend as much as he can trying to defend, but there is really no way to come back from this, and sees that himself and says the GG. So That was a very crazy game there. It actually looked like NalRa was going to just bust through the top here and get some really good damage done, but unfortunately a couple of Colossi coming out to defend at that midpoint was just in time for GGandol, so he's able to defend and then hold his ground, get a fourth, and get that extra rich extra super rich Vespene geyser and get a lot of gas income and get this crazy death ball going, and that's when Protoss versus Zerg becomes very favored towards the Protoss, I'll admit. But great game there from these two players. If you want to see more from the Dream Team Gaming guys, if you want to see it, let me know. Of course, I can grab all sorts of replays. If you want to see some of the specific players, of course, make sure you let me know as well, because I'll ask them for some replays. You can have a look on Dream Team Gaming on Liquipedia. You can see all the players we have there. Also, make sure you say hello to @AllDayDreamTeamGaming on Twitter as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time.